So before everything starts, I would like to say please take this as a discussion instead of a sharing. So I may not be completely right, and so feel free to ask any questions or if you think there's anything wrong or not clear. Today we're going to talk about or discuss about the emotional game design systems, and this is agenda. We'll mention everything starts from what, which is where the source come from, and what is emotional game design, why we care about it, and how Sky uses EGD, and how I get inspired and to create the emotional game design systems, and a summary. Actually, everything starts from a discussion program that Jenova Chen take part in. That I listened to that, and he mentioned about since he is the student of interactive media, and he's kind of curious that if we say that movie industry also already have the ability to create or deliver the memorable emotional experiences to audience, why not the game industry cannot do this? So inspired by the movie industry's ability to deliver the touching experiences, we hope to create the memorable emotional experiences with similar reliable approach, which leads to the emotional game design. You could take it as a reliable approach to create the memorable emotional experiences for players. Why we care about it? We need a reliable approach to crafting emotional experiences. If it is not repeatable and not reliable, it's useless. And we hope to be appealing and enjoyable for everyone for our games. So game design is actually about crafting experiences. Although we mentioned that gameplay and challenges itself is capable of delivering memorable emotional experiences, but if we can combine and integrating the gameplay and challenges, storytelling, and also the narrative together, we could make the achievement of the target solid. And also, we hope to be appealing and enjoyable for everyone. Inspired by movie industry's four-quadrant movie, which is trans, gender, and age. For example, you could see the right screenshots. That's I take from the GDC sharing. The x-axis is the gender, and the y-axis is age. You could take for example, the left part, the blue categorized as those movie categories that men will like more, and the right part, the red categories, it's the movie categories that maybe women will like more. But if we look at the center part, the four quadrant part that is covered by this blue square. For example, those yellow and green categories may be liked by most people, that is trans, gender, and age. So inspired by this, we aim to create games that are universally appealing and enjoyable for everyone. And how Sky uses EGD. The method proposed is about the emotional curve, and the following content, many of it is I got inspired and taken from their GDC sharing. There are basically three principles that they use to achieve the emotional curve. The first is about the universal language, which is at the visual or audio ways. And the second is about the action design. People will do what they can do. Actually, there is a fun story that Jenova Chen shared before. He mentioned about when they are trying to develop the journey, and one day their engineering comes to him to said that okay, for now we can add the physical simulation into the game. Do we do that? Of course, at the very beginning, they think it's very cool since adding the physical simulation would make the game becomes more appealing, so they added. But after that, they found some scenarios that they are not wish to see, because Journey is a game that about to link and create bond between two people, two stranger, and but after the adding of the physical simulation, they found that players starts to hurt each other. For example, player A will push the other player down to the hill, or just push them to sticky planimals, and which will make them die. During one playtest, he playtested together with his engineer, and he is always pushed off by his engineering, and he kind of feels sad and even ask the engineer, do they really know what kind of a game they are trying to create. He start to feel frustrating and have no faith in human. But later, he got a chance to talk to a psychologist, a friend, about this, and this friend talked about a developing a theory on the psychology, said that we could take the players that enter the digital world as a child. They are not have the normal ethic theory or opinion about what is good, what is bad, and what they should do or what they should not. They just trying to exploring and to try to find feedbacks. So if you say that if he can push other body down the hill, and he can see that the yelling of the player avatar, and even see some cool camera visual effects, he will think, okay, this is very cool, and he just want to try more, something like that. They are not really feel guilty about what they have done, because there's no right or wrong on that behavior. They're just trying to search for new things and feedbacks as a child. After knowing that, they removed the physical simulation from Journey, and so that player can focused and not disrupted by those unrelated events. This is the second principle. And the third is about the space and the environmental storytelling. They hide the info with those environmental storytelling for player. So if we see this picture, this emotional curve up and down, you could take it as the whole emotional experiences that the player have played during the whole game. And for each of the part, you could take it as specific emotional experiences. For example, the exciting at the very beginning, and then playful, and feel complex or energetic, then feel struggle and mysterious. How they achieve this? For example, they use one of the important method of the storytelling, which is color, as the atmosphere or the tune for each of the faces. For example, when we always say that color that feels more warm, for example, red and orange and yellow, something like that, well makes you feel energetic and feel positive. And those cold color, for example, blue and black and gray, something like that, green, it will makes you feel painful and just low energy. Together, they use text to kind of hint about what they could expect from this stage, and which is also matches the emotional experiences they want to achieve in each phases. Together with that, they also use the collective consensus of human to enhance the whole storytelling. For example, here they said they use the time of day, which is dawn, the day, rain, sunset, dusk, and night, something like that, to get inspired from it to set the atmosphere and use different color and light and shadow based on it. For example, the dawn is a signal of the hope and everything starts, so it matches with emotional experiences of the exciting they want to achieve here. But as you can see that the dusk, it's because the emotional experiences goal of this stage is struggle, so they match the thing together with the dusk feeling of you see make it looks like feel painful and hard. Besides that, they also use the collective consensus of human life to serve as the inspiration for the character design and the character action design. For example, you see that birth, childhood, adolescence, maturity, midlife crisis, and elder is the common sense that everyone knows about. And when people think about for example, the childhood, they will feel it's very playful and energetic, and so the character and the character action is very powerful and basically freedom. But if you see the midlife crisis, it's very struggle feeling, and so all of the actions you see here is very painful, and they just scroll together, and when you see that action, you will feel, oh, it's kind of painful and tough. Then about the progression of the civilization is another collective consensus they take use of, and to serve as the inspiration for the space and structure. For example, primitive and harmony with nature, industrialization, peak of civilization, apocalypse, and post-apocalypse. At first, maybe the structure and the space language is more about combining or taking use of natural what it has, but with the development of the industrial, you see more sign of the using techniques appears, and the less and less you can see from the original nature material. And also at the apocalypse and the post-apocalypse stage, you see that many things are ruined and rebuilt and kind of deconstruct and construct again, something like that. This is a summary page. At the very last point about the narrative structure, they use the so-called collective journey in their narrative design. I will not explain too much, but we could mention it simply as a comparison to the hero's journey. If we say that hero's journey is all about the chosen one, the one, that everything is needs to be pushed by the one, and everything is related to the one. Many people it's just because they are not the one, so they are just kind of not that important like the one. But the goal of the journey of the skies, they want to create the bond between humans, between everybody. So everybody matters. not only about the one. So they use such kind of a collective journey as their design principle to make sure that everybody matters in the whole process and in the whole game. After talking about the how the EGD and how the EGD is used in the game industrial, I got inspired from it to create the emotional game design systems, the EGDS. And this is how it is built. Because we say that we want to create the emotional curve, which is consist of different and many emotional experiences. I would like to know first that what kind of emotions we are trying to referring to. So after discussed with many AI, I got collected those most commonly accepted theories about the emotions, and I choose the theory of the Robert Plachek because it is easy to understand and there are clear relationships between the different emotions. This is Plachek's wheel of emotions. At the very center, there are basically 8 core emotions, and based on each of them, they are according to different arousal level. There will be different sub emotions, something like that. So based on that, I try to create a emotional map. The x-axis is the emotional valence. For example, if it's negative, we say it's minus is negative. If it's a positive value, it means it's positive emotions. And the y-axis is the arousal level, which means that, for example, if the arousal level is 0, you could take this is a dead man, and the arousal level is 10. You could see, you could think this is the highest point that a human being can reach. Take example for the valence of -5, but the arousal is 10. It is related to the emotion of rage. But for the valence of 5 and the arousal is 9, we could think it is ecstasy. Also, the left part is about since it will feel more cold, so it's have the tune color of blue, and the right part is about the tune color of red. And based on the arousal level, if it's higher, then it's more saturated. And we could remapping all of the emotions that we took from the Plachek emotional well to the certain places. Also, we said that in the movie industrial, we have the 4-quadrant movie, which transcends the different gender and the ages. We also want to create games that is appealing and attractive and enjoyable for many people. So we just try to think maybe for such kind of game, maybe it's at least it will trigger the emotions of positive emotions, and maybe it has needs to have a certain level of arousal. So we could see that there is a triangle that represents the scope of I just referring to, and also I try to remapping the 4-quadrant movie categories into the emotional map. You see that there are many overlapping actually. So related to the 4-quadrant movie in the industrial, maybe it's the relevant corresponding concept that is appealing, attractive, and enjoyable for most of the player. maybe we are trying to create triangle game. So this is the emotional game design system. If we say that the emotional curve is the experiences through the whole game, which consists of emotional experiences, the emotional experiences is built up with feelings, either it's intrinsic or extrinsic. I will explain later. The feelings are triggered, could be triggered by either gameplay and challenges, or narrative, or storytelling. Those three parts is very important. They are not just independent exist. They will help each other and enhance each other. So we talk about the feelings first. I got inspired by Daniel Kahneman in his book of the Thinking Fast and Slow. In this book, he divided the human thinking method into two systems, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is capable to do intuitive, fast thinking, and the System 2 is good at to think slowly, but use attention and logic to get the results. So here I divide the feelings into also feeling 1 and feeling 2. And the feeling 1 is, I also call it the intrinsic feeling, which is triggered by the emotions, memories, experiences, something like that. And the feeling 2, you could take it as extrinsic feeling, which is triggered by attention and analyzation. Here are some examples of those feelings. For example, for intrinsic, you could feel that it's visual balanced or unbalanced. You will feel danger. You will get a feeling of evil, young, anxiety, royal, fun, exploration, curiosity, satisfying, stress, connection, collaboration, pacing, difficulty, believable, intuitive, tangible, free, has a good controls feel, out of control, or frustration, or you feel its depths and relief, or disappointment, or lost, something like that. All of those hard to tell feeling, you could take it as intrinsic one. And for extrinsic, you could also think it as kind of rational reasons or logic behind the intrinsic feeling. For example, no focal point, unmatched, no face, unknown, something like that. I will give you some examples. For example, in the Legend of Zelda Creating a Champion, the book, when the designers or the artists, they are trying to create the Zora, they want to deliver an intrinsic feeling of young. And the way they are trying to achieve that is to make the weapon is taller than the height of the Zora. So the extrinsic feeling here, I took it as a match. Another example here is that for the Malayan, the god, the spirits, the intrinsic feeling that the artist is trying to achieve here is kind of, as you see, I want to make him unsettling by giving there just be nothing, which means the intrinsic feeling here is I call it anxiety, and the extrinsic feeling is no face. After talking about the feelings, I also want to mention that those three important parts. First is about the gameplay and challenges. Gameplay and challenges is achieved by game mechanics and which supported by different game systems. And the player interact with the game mechanics with their input, and of course their input is affected by their player skills. The differences between the game mechanics and the gameplay and challenges, to my understanding, is that when you have the chances to fail, to lose, then it may have the chance to become a gameplay and the challenges based on a game mechanics, or you could say, according to Sakurai, that you need to have the feeling of the push and pull to make it as a gameplay and challenges. Here are some examples. We say that if for the simple interaction, it could be either a game mechanics or even be a gameplay and challenges. We take the example of the Dark Souls, the Mimic. If we say that the emotional experiences here is vigilance, and the intrinsic feeling is fun, danger, and suspense, and you could see what it gets you. There are two boxes. The left one is just a showcase of the game mechanics of the simple interaction. You just open it and you take things from it. And the right one, after you get it, you will be damaged. Actually, because in the game, if you met the Mimic from early stages or even middle stages, it will cause much damages to you, and you may die from it directly, which makes the whole thing about open the box became very dangerous, and you need to really take care of it before you open it, which I think is a very good example of the simple interaction as a gameplay and challenges. Here I take another example of the Black Myth Wukong, that for the simple interaction as a game mechanics. So that's it. After you open it and you get the things from it, and that's it. This is a example of the game mechanics. Then another example for the resource management as a gameplay and challenges. If we say that for the example of the Dark Souls 3, to trade the things from the bird, if we say the emotional experiences here is the interest, surprise, and joy, and I would take it the intrinsic feeling as fun, curiosity, and exploration. You see it. You see, there is a VO to hint you that what is needed. At first, you may not get what it requires or what it needs, so you may try a bit to throw different things. For example, the first thing he throws is a colorful stone, and the VO hints you that it's not correct. So the second time he threw a fire thrower, and the VO hints you, okay, this time you got it. So you get a valuable weapon upgrade material from it. This is a good example of the resource management as a gameplay and challenges, that you need to think about it and what it really needs, and after thinking you get the clue, and you get the answer of it, which makes you satisfying. Actually, the resource management gameplay and challenges is based on the game economics. The screenshots here is a note I took from the GMTK video, how video game economics are designed. If we say that for the game economics, there are different subsystems. For example, there are tap or source that could generate new resources, and then there are inventory, which could use to store resources. Then we have the drain and sink, which could remove resources from the economics, and converter, to which could convert from A to B. For example, this is the most commonly seen store that you could spend your money to buy things, something like that. And also we will have the trader, which switch from A to B, which kind of serve as a special store. The example of the Dark Souls, it's just one example of this kind of a special trader, special store. And also there are some examples from Zelda, that monster store that you could use monster material to extract different things, special things, something like that. Another example for the crafting system, crafting as a gameplay and challenges, we take the example of the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And the emotional experiences here, we take it as anticipation, that you could know, kind of expect what you can get, and surprise and joy. The intrinsic feeling, I think, here is about fun and freedom and intuitive and exploration, that you could try and fail and try different things out. You see a player use blueprint to craft the things, use just a common material and stick them together to create a rocket, which could launch you to a very high height.
And crafting not only rockets, but multi-stage rockets. In essence, creating Hyrule's first space program.
Yeah, this is a very good example of the crafting as a gameplay and challenges. And this is a example from the Borderlands 3, that the crafting as a game mechanics.
Now, once you've sold quite a few of those, I do suggest going ahead and getting yourself some backpack upgrades. So do this a few times. Don't use up all your money though. Make sure you still have plenty of money to tip Moxie. So there we go. We can actually upgrade our backpack fully. Now,
so you see that the crafting mechanics is heavily related to the game economics, that you spend something to get something like that.
I am using a mod.
Next, we are talking about the storytelling, which is another important part for trigger the feelings. It has including, for example, visual storytelling, auditory storytelling, and haptics storytelling, something like that, and has some integrated example of CG, environmental storytelling, NPC dialogue, something like that. For the visual storytelling, there are many ways or tools we could use. For example, camera, light and shadow, color, shape, space and structure, prop and architecture, UI, VFX, character actions, gear and equipment, animation, position, spatial depths, size, and text, many things. For audio, we have, for example, music and audio effects. For audio effects, we have different kind of, for example, background, dialogue, voiceover, and Foley, and sound effect, for example, and sound effect. And voila. For storytelling, it's also, we could use haptics to hint you that the thing you're doing is correct or wrong, or make it matches what it happened in the screen. For visual storytelling, the example is still from the Zelda book. For example, here the artists want to enhance the feeling of the fear and aggressiveness, and the intrinsic feeling I think here is about danger and horrible. So what they tried is to use the red hair as the part of the Ganon. And for the use of the audio, I took the example from the Death Stranding. I'm thinking that the emotional experiences here that we would like to achieve is awe and vigilance, and the intrinsic feeling here is about alone and the calm before the storm. So we could see it.
Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
Next, we'll talk about the example of the storytelling that make use all kinds of visual and audio, something like that. We'll take the example of the Elden Ring. If we say that the emotional experiences here is awe, anticipation, interest, and pensiveness, I would say it's related. The intrinsic feelings about epic, surreal, the came before the storm, and hope. Let's see it.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered.
At first, they use a very gentle sound,
Across the fog,
deep
the
sound,
lands between.
to tell you about what is the background of the world. the string instrument
Queen Marika the Eternal
enter
is
to create the
nowhere
feeling
to be found.
or atmosphere of the
And in the
sadness.
night of the Black Knives, Godwin the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards
I think it
of the Elden
has the
Ring.
feeling of the plot.
The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment
The view is
by the greater will.
strengthened.
Oh,
There's a call out
rise now,
for the
ye
player.
tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long lost grace speaks to us all.
Kind of delivering the hope. It's a very classic introducing of different characters.
The ever brilliant
With a strong jump.
fear, the deathbed companion, the loathsome dung eater, and Sir Gideon Othniel, the all-knowing.
It came to a dawn feeling. Everything starts from a light, which is a signal of the hope
And one other
that fallen to the player.
whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no
The feeling
renown.
that everything will start to change and start again. The
Cross
will of the
fall
destiny is start to
to the lands between,
moving again.
to stand before the Elden Ring and become the Elden Lord.
Then we'll talk about the environmental storytelling. Still the example from the Elden Ring that the capital before it's ruined and after it's ruined. If we say that the emotional experiences for the capital before it's ruined, it's related to awe and interest, and I think it could bring you the intrinsic feeling of the curiosity. You want to explore it, and has a feeling of royal and dreamy because of the golden feeling. But after it's ruined, the emotional experience is related to, I think it's amazement and vigilance, since you will feel the intrinsic feeling of danger and also curious of what happened and have the suspense. At the same place, with the different environmental telling, you will trigger very different feelings. The last is about the narrative. I make it as structure and content. The structure, usually what we commonly see is 5-act, 3-act, the hero's journey, the writer's journey, and the hero goal sequences, something like that. It's more linear. And for the non-linear narrative structure, which related to what we already said about the collective journey. For narrative content, I think it's most related to player story, NPC story, and war story, and which is supported by different character and their relational verbs, and which is their relationships, and also supported by environment, biome, scenario, and era, something like that. Here I will give you 2 examples that I think that take use of all of the methods and 3 important parts we are referring to, which is gameplay and challenges, narrative, and storytelling. The first example is from the Uncharted 4, a puzzle. The emotional experiences here I think is related to the interest and the anticipation, and its intrinsic feeling I think it could triggered is about exploration, believable, and satisfying. The gameplay and challenges here they are using is about puzzle, as I mentioned, and the game mechanics is many simple interaction feedbacks. The narrative here they are using is related to NPC story and the specific scenario, and the puzzle is set based on the era, and they take use of the environmental storytelling and also use many VO to hint you about what happened and create the atmosphere.
Is missing out. Here we go. Burns' cell. Cell? More like a suite.
So VO here
Where to begin?
to hint you about the environmental storytelling
Gold and silver.
of the
Wait a sec. I saw
clues.
something like this on the letter.
and also VO hint you about your note.
Huh. Well, that's part of the symbol.
So another VO and some text as a
Here's the other
hint
hand.
of the clue.
Now then. That's more like it.
So you get
Okay,
the
zodiac
clue.
symbol. Sagittarius. And the Scorpio sign.
So that you need to tell from the environment that what is the answer
10 and 2.
to the puzzle.
X and II.
Here the player get it directly the answer, and I think he should be satisfied with it.
Would you look at that?
And you think you say the audio effects here give you an atmosphere of something is strange, and you get something exotic.
Is miss.
Another example from The Last of Us. I think the emotional experiences here is trying to achieve is fear, vigilance, apprehension, and disgust. The intrinsic feeling related is danger, anxiety, and stress. I think the gameplay and challenges here is what they use is just a simple locomotion, but they use it well to make it as a gameplay and challenges. The game mechanics here is locomotion, and the narrative here they combine with the player story, NPC story, war story, scenario, and era, and they also take good use of the environmental storytelling and use many VOs. Let's see.
Get to the highway! Go! You got Sarah! I cannot run him!
So Uncle Tommy is helping them to block those monsters and zombies, and you see the light and shadow here,
They're getting closer.
and the VO to hint you what happened. and the red shiny flash. The suddenly appear the monster. And then you got saved. It's very short, but I think it's a very good example that they combine the gameplay challenges and the narrative and the storytelling together to deliver the emotional experiences they want to create for the players. So let's mention it again. If we say that the emotional curve is about the experiences through the whole game, then it is consist of different and many emotional experiences, which is built up with either intrinsic or extrinsic feelings. The feelings is triggered by 3 important parts: gameplay and challenges, narrative, and storytelling. The storytelling will be enhanced by the collective consensus, and the gameplay and challenges will be achieved with the game mechanics, which is supported by game system and achieved with player input. And of course, players' input is affected by their skills. If we say these 3 parts clearly, if we focus on the narrative part, it will works more like the novel. And if we combine the narrative and the storytelling together, it will works more like movie. Only if we can combine the gameplay and challenges together with those 2 parts, so these 3 parts can work together, that we can fully take use of game media's power to create or deliver the memorable, emotional experiences for player. A summary. We need a reliable approach to create games that are universally appealing and enjoyable for everyone, and we want to create emotional experiences reliably. So I created the EGDS. By integrating the gameplay and challenges, narrative and storytelling, makes the delivery of the memorable emotional experiences solid. The system is still open and to be iterated. Thank you for listening, watching, and your thinking through this. It would be very appreciated if you could take some time to scan the QR code to take the questionnaire. I'm listening to you, and we could make this better. Thank you.